everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the May 2025 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. Starting off in the Northeast, Amtrak has released not one but two ad wraps representing Crayola on ACS 64's number 620 and 621 for service along the railroad's Northeast corridor. As another entry in Amtrak's ACS 64 ad wrap saga, these two engines were created to advertise family travel on Amtrak during the summer season, as well as two specific offers for the Auto Train and for the Crayola Experience events across the country, with one of the two, 620, representing the return of a recently discontinued Crayola color named Dandelion. Rail fans across the Northeast corridor are now trying their best to catch these two units on a wide variety of Northeast regionals and keystones, as this marks a rare instance of the same advertiser commissioning two ad-wrapped engines running at the same time. Seeing that the Northeast corridor between DC and Boston sees the most Amtrak service on a daily basis, it makes the most sense to commission these ad wraps for locomotives that are used on services where the most people will see them, even if some of the offers they're advertising aren't limited to the Northeast. But overall, I think these two liveries look great, as I've also seen these two engines in person recently, as they help promote Amtrak's extensive collaboration history, as well as giving rail fans something to look out for on the busiest passenger rail corridor in the country. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Mattel released a 1983 Down the Mine pilot to celebrate the 80th anniversary of Thomas the Tank Engine. 5008 Creations was featured in a local news article covering the rise of his channel. Robert Prevost is the first American Pope as he takes on the new name Pope Leo XIV, while Pope Francis appeared in a Railway Age article. Lithuanian Railways is offering a pink soup train to celebrate their summer festival. The Boring Company could be collaborating with Amtrak for the Frederick Douglass Tunnel in Baltimore. Glid is partnering with Mendocino Railways to develop a high-railer dump truck. Wells Fargo has sold their rolling stock leasing business, WFRX. LNER has dedicated May 22nd as 225 Day to celebrate the Intercity 225. And Nordic Refinance RC4 number 1166 has been repainted back into its Amtrak Phase 2 livery from when it was tested in the US in 1977, in order to lead an excursion train in Sweden. Now here's a follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. Coaster F40PH number 2105 has been moved to the Southern California Rail Museum, along with Santa Fe Bicentennial Unit number 5704. New York and Lake Erie has repainted their MLW M636. Croatia's rebuilt battery-powered MU has entered service. Southwestern Railways has been nationalized, with some train sets receiving Great British Rail logos. The acquisition of the Great Lakes Central by Watco has been paused by the STB, while Northern Lights Express has lost its funding. The Supreme Court of the U.S. has approved the construction of the Uinta Basin Railway, and Andy Byford has been placed as the head of Amtrak's Penn Station redevelopment program, thus relocating him from his previous role as head of Amtrak's high-speed rail department. In other news, SPNS 700 has returned to service. The first Siemens D9 9000 has entered service on Indian Railways, while the first Toshiba HTB 800 hybrid shunter has entered service on DB. Complete train sets of Comfort Jets have entered service on CD. CRRC has produced the first CKD-6H hybrid shunter for Keys AD, while Siemens produced the first S700 light rail for OC Streetcar. Flixrail has placed an order for Talgo 230 train sets, while STA has ordered Alstom Coradia Streams. Stadler has produced rack trains for Montrex Veve Riviera in Switzerland, while also making flirts for A-Train and AB in Sweden with a livery that looks very similar to Brightline. Elon Musk has left Doge. Drive-on piggyback truck service is to end in Switzerland. KNR is to assist Poland with their high-speed rail program. Anyone under 18 in Victoria can soon ride their public transit for free. Regional Rail is to buy Minnesota Commercial, while the Steelton plant is to shut down. Maine celebrated National Train Day with various events, while the same state rejected a Portland to Bangor and Orono passenger service. Sound Transit has opened their 2-line extension to Redmond. Brightline is offering workspaces in some of their stations. The A-Train in Dallas wants to extend their line south to connect with the soon-to-open Silver Line. California High-Speed Rail could look into more public-private partnerships. And Union Pacific extended their lease on the Moffett Tunnel in exchange for Amtrak running 3 round trips between Denver and Craig, Colorado as early as 2026. Also, congratulations on the Reading and Northern for winning a Historic Preservation Award. Happy 75th birthday to NW 611, happy 50th birthday to the EMD F40PH, and happy 30th anniversary to the Piedmont, as Amtrak released a heritage unit to celebrate the occasion. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is Dudes Deciding an IG Story. And now, the top story of the May 2025 Pensyfan Periodical is NJT on strike. In one of the first commuter rail strikes in the region in 40 years, New Jersey Transit's commuter rail divisions went on strike between May 16th and May 19th due to poor working conditions and lower pay when compared to neighboring commuter railroads. Once again in the Northeast, this story starts about a month ago where the BLET overwhelmingly rejected tentative contracts for locomotive engineers, as the commuter railroad has been operating without a contract since 2019. With this massive rejection of the proposed tentative contract, and even though negotiations were in process, NJT started making preparations for service changes around a potential strike in a month's time, with other transit agencies offering replacement bus services on some lines. Eventually, NJT announced that rail service would be halted by 12:01 a.m. on Friday, May 16th, as the strike commenced, but negotiations were quickly underway throughout the weekend until an agreement that raised wages was finally reached on Sunday the 18th, with the strike still remaining in effect the following Monday the 19th, as service resumed the next Tuesday the 20th. Seeing that railway labor laws aren't my area of expertise, I don't have too much of an opinion regarding the matter other than I'm glad that a new contract was reached and that the strike didn't last for too long. But with that said, it's interesting to see how this particular situation led to a several days long strike, especially seeing how recent freight railroad strikes were either less than a day long or involved federal intervention to be prevented. If there is something to be learned from this for everyone, it's that we should never take the human aspect of railroading for granted, as there's a lot of complex interactions between several people who work for the railroads and other groups that help contribute to the smooth flow of the American rail network and society as we know it. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.